sold one. So that there's one more from Morning Peninsula Cup Spark. There's one more.
Okay.
Because
Ralph.
yeah, Ralph.
Yep.
That's right.
Yeah, Robbie just said his wife's done well.
Oh,
Yeah.
not cheap whiskey.
It's mostly the MO's come
You know what would be the ultimate is if you had
Yeah,
an auto grab
safety,
station.
you know.
You
Yeah,
could
that's
say,
good.
I'm here at the presentation,
send it to
Even
your
on that it
phone.
didn't work properly. So we did a video about
From
scrap
showing.
checks. You can see it on
When I
YouTube.
go into the stupid stuff in your
Tracking.
iPhone, even if it's like an email conversations going backwards and forwards, it takes all the documents out, like in the attachments. It just has a link down the bottom, which is not the attachment.
Uplink document. Please find a copy of the uplink document that's now been sent to Sharon and on the board of the ISS. Is this the one that we want?
So part of that video is to show that this.
Yeah.
No, this has got the school questions, but it doesn't
So
have
it's
that.
just it's a training
Hang
video.
on, let me go to
Yeah,
find the other one.
But yeah, so we go through this.
Final moderator script. That's the one, I think.
That's what I should talk about.
Yeah,
Right,
that's
there we go.
right.
Final moderator script. That's the one you want.
Pay money to get this.
That one there.
What is it?
Yes.
High power.
Okay, then. Forward to.
Yeah. So like 22,000 volts AC.
Oh,
Include.
okay.
We'll take you through it all.
Mm.
Get some subs.
Console.
These are pretty cool. These pictures.
Yeah. Interesting. So you got the.
So like these are the drawings we maintain.
Yeah. You got a step-up transformer to.
No, rectifiers. So we convert.
Convert it to DC. So DC is 22,000.
No. So the AC is 22 and the DC is 1500.
1,500.
Yeah.
Well, that 1,500 they can the train they can charge.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's historic.
Interesting.
You wouldn't do that nowadays. We also talk about like
I'll just what's
Yeah.
actually I'll just forward it to Brennan at Alpha.
yeah.
It's all
So
known, yeah, maybe we don't know.
Good.
Brennan at Alpha. Yeah, I'll send
I
it.
narrated it.
They're
That'll
practical.
probably be better.
The WIA one started failing. What was the story about that?
Yeah. So I'm basically a character. But yeah, even in our engineering, so we've got like protection engineers, so secondary engineers who work on the control system, and then people look after all the
2 more minutes, yeah.
transformers and bus
Yeah.
bars and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, each people has a specialised. Whereas me, I'm sort of a power system, so I'm across all of the disciplines.
All the
Yeah, I have to. Yeah, so it's good fun.
good. How interesting the signal stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hi Joe. Hi, good. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas for me, that's more boring.
This is Alan.
Yeah, we met before. Yeah.
Are you on video?
Am I on video? No, we're just not intentionally. We've got that going to the live stream at the moment. Just the picture of the tracking
Nuts.
app. Is it Russian? What's all that?
So we
Hi, how are you? I'm Jo.
when the trains slow
That's
down.
not behind the stage opera, but yeah.
Stores in
Yeah,
I'm
these things.
hi, nice to meet you.
That's capacitors and supercapacitors.
Oh, okay.
It's
So
like
Super capacitor.
yeah.
before
Interesting.
things happen.
So it's like
Yeah, good evening. This is St Margarets.
Hello, good evening. This is Verizon Conferencing Services. I'm here to join you into the conference call with NASA. I do have Bob on the line as well as Shane.
Okay, Bob and Shane are on the line. Okay, thanks very much for that. The person on this end is Jack, VK3WW.
Jack. Hi, Jack. I'm Delana. I will be the operator. I'll go ahead and place you in, and Bob and Shane will join you shortly.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, Shane, we are ready for the contact. We are in station now.
No problem at all. Okay, the conference operator just tried to call you without success, so I thought I'd better check and make sure you...
Okay.
Yep, no worries. Okay, she'll call us.
Okay, I am ready now in this moment with telephone line. Okay.
No worries. Thanks, Claudio. We'll call you back in a few minutes.
Have you received a recording from my station?
Recording? No.
Yes, I sent you the recording of the last contact from
okay.
Jan from a station because at the end of the contact we copied the greetings from Victor. Probably Jan not copied.
Legend. Well done. Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
We'll see you shortly.
See you soon. Ciao.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Hi, Bob.
Okay, Delana, if you try him now, you'll be right.
Okay, perfect. And I have dialed the school, and we have Jack on the line with us.
Great. Excellent. Welcome, Jack.
Yeah, hello there, Shane, and also Bob, which I haven't heard, and I heard Flavio, but he must have been coming through your system there.
Yeah, we were just a little bit worried about Claudio because the conference centre tried to call him without a response, but he's right now.
QSL.
And everything going okay your side, Jack?
Yeah, we're everything's all working fine here. We're all ready to go. We're just waiting for a few students to turn up. We've got a couple here. Robert just mentioned he's going to forward you the link for the YouTube.
Yep, no worries.
Claudio has joined us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can you forward that link on to me too, please, Shane?
Okay, I'll just check my emails.
Students are not going to sort of come at the last minute and turn up. What time are they told to be here?
He will be the number one person taught.
7:30, okay.
I just sent that audio recording to you, Bob.
Terrific. Thanks, mate.
And thanks, Claudio, for sending that.
Okay, Shane, I'm ready now. Ciao to all.
Excellent. Thanks, Claudio. Well, what we might do, we've got the school online and we've got Bob online. So we've got everyone that we need. So we might just go through some of the preliminary checks if you're okay with that.
Okay.
Okay, so you've tracked the ISS recently, Claudio. That was on the last pass, I imagine.
Yes, I was able to record the contact because we were in station already. So I copied the last message from Victor, the greetings from a good week, but I think for Young was not was loss of signal already.
Yes, we really appreciate that. You've done very well. The school will be very excited about that.
Okay.
Okay, so time check, Claudio. I'm seeing AOS in about 56 minutes.
Yes, we have 10 and 13 minutes and 18 seconds for us.
Okay, great. All right. Well, that'll give us a little bit of extra time, so that'll work out well. Okay, so just confirmation on the uplink and or your two uplink frequencies. So your primary being channel 12 and channel 14 as the backup.
Yes, channel 12 and 14.
Okay, thank you. Worries. And what we might do, I'll just check with the school and see if they're in a position at the moment just to do a level check as far as opening your squelch, and they can test and just see what the white noise is like their end. So, Jack, at the school, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can, Shane. I've got one of the students up here that we can do an audio check with you.
Okay, well, what we'll do to start with, Claudio will just open the squelch or the mute on his radio, and you'll just get some white noise. And then straight after that, we'll put a student on and we'll just do a level test as far as voice goes. So, Claudio, if you can just open up your squelch. Thank you.
Oh, okay.
How's that, Jack?
Yeah, that's good, Shane. And I'll put the student on now.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Minit Kalvada from Beacon Hills. And are there any unexpected laws of physics that do or don't remain the same in space? Over.
Okay, how was that?
Okay, good, well, thank you. Over.
Yeah, I think we doubled. How was that there, Claudio? Over?
Oh, yes, I copy without problem.
Okay, then do you want me to read it again, or is that enough? You've got your audio level, your uplink level checked? Over?
Okay, for me is okay. Modulation is very good also from the school.
Roger that, QSL. Thanks for that, over.
Well done, Jack. Jack, have you guys got like a program that you'll work to at the school tonight, or you just sort of kicking back and just waiting to the time of acquisition of signal?
We've got a bit of a short presentation. I've got about 6 slides or something. I'll just explain what's going to happen tonight, and yeah, so we'll get that going shortly when a few more students turn up, and then I can give the students here a bit of a rundown of what's going to happen when they're all lined up on their chairs. And yeah, what time are you actually starting your? What time are you starting the actual process, taking over and reading everything out and putting it back to the school for the principal to talk?
Okay, that'll be roughly at about 10:06 UTC. So what we'll do is I'll just give Delana the heads up to start recording, and that'll be at about the T-7 minute mark. So roughly 10:06 UTC.
Okay, 10:06 UTC. She'll start recording. Okay, and then yeah, you'll start off with your bit, and then you'll hand it back to us.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, no problem.
That's right. Yeah. So basically, at the end of that, it'll go to Claudio, to his ground station, and then you'll have your first student ready to proceed with the first question.
Yeah, roger that. QSL.
Thanks. And how have you been, Claudio? It's been quite some time.
Yes, we are ready. Okay, thanks, Shane.
Do you have any other operators there with you today, or are you operating by yourself?
In the station, we are me and Mikkel.
Okay.
India uniform.
Greetings to Mikkel.
You might hear radio.
Yeah. I see many of Mikkel's.
Yes, we will be online at 12 in local time, so 10 o'clock UTC with the stream.
Okay, very good. I see many of Mikel's posts on Facebook. Very good work. She does some good work there for you.
You are very, very kind. Thank you so much.
No problem, Nicole.
It's all right. You can hang on to it. Sit there. That's fine. You can sit there. You're going to be sitting there anyway. If you sit there, you'll be asking the first question or the second question, whichever way we do it.
Okay.
Well, actually, no. This will be in order. So, which number are you on the list?
I'm number 4.
Number 4. Okay. So as long as you get up in, unless you want to sit in.
Okay, the school has just sent me a YouTube link too. If anyone wants it, I can send it to you.
Yes, please, Shane.
Okay.
It'll be, actually, what I might do is I'll get a pen. Where's that? And I will go.
Well, that's a bit rude. I put a few calls out for the space station. They didn't answer me.
Wow. Were you surprised?
Not really.
So, yeah, so you've got 16 questions, right? Yeah.
Can you take a photo like
I think should we do it at the end?
do you do it? Like, I was thinking now because no one else is here.
Oh, okay.
It's just us to have this.
Okay.
Kind of ironic. The Beacon Hills Barrack students are the ones to come first.
Yeah.
Somewhat. So your question is, how is water recycled?
Yeah.
I'm asking, are there any unexpected buildings
Oh,
that don't remain the same space? What do you think?
Oh, okay.
Because it'd be amazing if they wasn't.
Yeah.
Or actually was.
Yeah.
Delana, if you're still listening, we've got about 42 minutes before I'll ask you to start recording, so you've got some time up your sleeve if you want to have a cup of coffee or something.
Okay. Thank you, Bob.
She's promoted you, mate. Your name's Bob now.
Rightio. You can sit in these.
I don't mind being called Bob. He's okay.
Whatever question number you've got, sit on the
Two
seat
Bobs.
with that
You can
number.
never have
So if
enough
you're
Bobs.
Question number 3, sit on seat number 3.
I'm not sure about that.
Yeah, my wife would argue that as well.
Do they sit in order, in a particular order?
I'm still struggling, Bob, to find the perfect headset.
I've got numbers on the sheets on the chairs.
Yeah, afraid this one that it doesn't have any markings, and I've got no idea where I got it from. I'm sure it was on Evil Bay, but no idea where.
Okay.
14.
Yep.
You must have an earlier question. We haven't got 14. We've only got 12 students, haven't we? Have you got another question? You got 2 questions?
Have you got another question? Number 6.
Okay, that's over here. Next to this boy. You see number 6 on the page there. You worried with your 14. space station just went over Melbourne.
Just kept plodding them.
Number 10 should be.
Yeah,
Number 10
it
on
was
the
a
outside.
perfect pass. Wonder why didn't we use that one?
You've
There was
got,
another school got it.
you've got a fair bit of time
I'm
before
not
I
sure.
home with Dad. You can
Yeah,
home
no, it
with
wasn't a
Dad.
perfect pass. It was a pretty low pass actually. Yeah. Anyway.
Didn't look like it. If it come over. Oh yeah, it might have. Probably 15 degrees. I don't think there's a good station in Melbourne, is there?
Good station.
It's a good station, Joe.
No, I'm in the closet hole. I need to live out in the sticks somewhere. Maybe out the back of Torquay, out in the farming area or something like that. Nice. Nice quiet country area.
If where Michael Ross RZ used to live on the top of North Balwyn, that would be
Two city stuff. You have to pay pages.
why you're on. What's
2 metres.
it's 2 metres up or down?
The downlink's 2 metres and uplink.
Yeah, okay.
Simplex.
Simplex.
Yeah, simplex.
Why don't they work duplex?
Robert, do you want to take
Because they don't want to double with each other, I suppose. They have to say over, so they switch from transmit to receive on the same frequency.
Okay. Well, all right.
Number 2. Okay,
You'll be
UBC.
filled up with students, that's good. I can
Well,
run down.
Sit next to.
I suppose 2 metres is yeah okay.
So number 2.
If you want to get away from the page, go down. You could go down to 145 or something. Get away from the page.
Yeah, I suppose, but better if you're out in the country like Shane was up in mining country. What's his name in Adelaide? South Australia. He lives on the coast down in southern South
Yeah.
Australia. Small farming community. The guy in Perth, I don't know where he is. These Italians are at an airport in northern Italy, way up northern Italy.
Yeah.
They're at stations in the airport, so it's all open.
Up where what's his name used to live? You know, he was a member of the Doug MacArthur.
Oh, Doug MacArthur, you went near, that'd be a nice place.
You could
Really
really
with his big douche and TVs. And the space stations are over the hill and still talking.
Yeah.
Until it got to the other side.
Jack, where's number 13?
We only have 12 students.
12
Do you have 2 questions? One question. We can make a 13, but it's just that 13. Okay.
Squeeze in.
Yeah, Joe told me there's only 12, so we need 13 is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9,
13, yeah, right.
Hey Tony, this is Shane. Hey,
Oh, Shane, thank you for everything. That was wonderful.
that's fine, mate. I just sent you through a recording that Claudio was kind enough to send through, which
Good. That's
which
great.
at the 9-minute, 10-second mark, you'll hear the astronaut come back and close off and say thank you. So that'll be a nice one for the school to listen to.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thanks very much,
Okay.
Shane. Can't thank you too much.
Oh, look,
Fantastic.
it's a team effort. Everyone sort of does their little bit and it all comes together. So it's all pretty special. Good on you. Thanks, Tony.
All right.
Okay.
Thanks very much, Shane.
Okay, bye.
I've got one in my blazer.
We've got one more child to come.
Mine in my blazer.
Oh, okay. You need to, when you ask a question, you can have a look at just in case. Oh, you got one, maybe? Yeah, okay.
See?
Yeah, okay, that's fine.
What have we got?
We've got 13 kids.
Jackson? He's actually not here yet. Are you far, honey? Yeah. Yeah, you're on that side. Looking for a number 12.
First one. Okay, so you can see. Yep. Number one person's come in.
Over there. You want some?
Number 7 we're waiting for. Jackson. Just waiting on one student, and I'll give them a bit of a briefing on what they need to do.
Save those for tomorrow.
Firstly, I just want to thank you all for coming. There are a few people. My name's Jo Mitchell. I'm the Learning Leader for Science at St Margaret's Primary School, in secondary school here and at the office at campus. 3 years ago, Mr. Robbie Shim here applied for this opportunity to happen, and that was before I even worked at this school. So, thank you, Robbie. Okay. In amongst one of Robbie's passions as a science teacher is amateur radio, and the people around the room.
Take that, talking to that.
Really?
Yes.
And the people around the room are hobbyists of amateur radio and passionate about all things amateur radio. They've helped us out a few times in my time at the school. Okay, Mr. Nigel Housey, who is floating around, is the one who extended the invitation to our junior school, Brentwood Primary. Locally, Brentwood Primary, Beacon Hills and St Francis, and so we've opened up this opportunity, being as unique as it is to our wider community, not keeping it just at St Margaret's. So I'm going, basically, from what I understand, is that this morning they started test communications, and we are going into a base station in Italy, and there is a presentation showing, that was on the screen that's no longer there at the moment, that was showing where the space station is in relation to us. Okay, when it's overhead, it's only overhead for a very short time. Okay, but so far, from what I've heard in this little space this evening, communications are very clear. Yeah, to the base station at least.
Yeah, I'll talk about all that in a minute.
Okay.
So, okay. All right. Okay, my name's Jack Bramham, and my radio call sign, if any of you are amateurs or some watching live, it's VK3 WWW, and we've got 3 more amateurs here tonight. Damien and Alan over there on the cameras behind me, or over that way, and Robert, who's hidden around the corner. He's doing all the mixing, the video mixing. So that's where all the vision mixing and audio mixing's all coming from. All right. I've got a very short PowerPoint presentation to show you tonight. And Joe was talking about, well, we're actually into technology big time. Amateur radio has come along in probably in leaps and bounds. You don't just sit at home and talk on the radio. We do a lot of talking on the radio. I do, driving around in my job, just talking to other amateurs around Melbourne as I'm going from one job to the next. But a lot of us are into technology big time. Compiling coding programs, making up Raspberry Pi projects and stuff like that. It's not just ham radio. But if it can something we can build to work with ham radio, it's even better. Now tonight we've got 13 students here that have all got their questions ready for the space station. The astronaut we'll be talking to is Shannon Walker. I should probably run through this PowerPoint presentation, I think, so you'll see it up on the screen, and those sitting at home can watch it at home. Now, Shannon Walker, one thing that the NASA like to do is have astronauts. They encourage them to get ham radio licenses. So if you can see under her name there, you can see KD5DXB and NA1SS. But I notice the call sign they're using tonight on the space station is OR4ISS, which is the call sign from the European Space Agency. I'm assuming that's what it's from. Shannon will be talking to the children tonight, answering their questions. Now, one interesting thing, some of you may or may not remember Andy Thomas, the Australian astronaut that was up on Russian space station Mir. He's actually their husband and wife, the two of them, which is quite unusual. I think it's the first husband and wife that they've had on the in the astronaut fraternity. Yeah, so Andy was VK5MIR. Back in many years ago, I actually spoke to him quite a few times when he was in the Russian space station as he came over Melbourne. And
anyone else watching the presentation?
That was quite interesting. I'll just turn that down a little bit. ISS.
No,
Turn that down a little bit there. Okay, and so to have a contact with the space station, or with the space station here, I've got I didn't have a pointer here tonight, but on the top section up here, I think I've got a bit more mic than that to pull around. Here we go. Okay. The ground station would consist of, this is one way that we can do it, and I'll explain the way we are going to do it, but this is one way, this is probably the most common way that ham radio guys do it. They have a computer that controls the antenna system, so it rotates azimuth and elevation, tracks the satellite or the space station across the sky. They'll have a power supply, a receiver, and possibly an amplifier as well to boost up the signal so that it's much stronger. The space station don't amplify their signal, but because they're out in space, VHF waves just a line of sight. But they are line of sight, 400 odd kilometres in distance, but it's line of sight. No, nothing in the way. It's much easier. That's the primary station, which goes over to the antenna system, which I mentioned as azimuth and elevation antennas, onto a rotating system, and then you have a backup system in case something fails. Tonight's contact, which is probably the most common one for schools, is what's called a telebridge contact. So you can imagine we're on the right hand side of the screen here. The school there. So the space station's going overhead. Now it could be anywhere in the world, and tonight it'll be going over Europe. They have a ground station. In our case, it's in Italy, and the Italian station will then receive and transmit the signals. So it's a live contact. This is not just someone sitting in a room somewhere going across the internet. This is the radio link. This is the radio link going up to the ISS, up and down to the ISS. And just to give you a little bit of an idea, this we've just got a map here. IK1 SLD is the station that's doing the downlink. They're in northern Italy, up near the Austrian-Swiss border. So way up northern Italy is where the ground station is. And looking on the on Google Maps, it looks like they're based in an airport, in a small airport up north there. This is their station. So you can see they've got the big screen up the top. That is the tracking software up the top, and there's another tracking software on that screen there. Another bit of tracking software which is showing a globe Earth on the middle there, and then all their radios down the bottom. They also do occasionally on the International Space Station. Oh, the antennas. Yes, there we go. There's the. These are called cross-feed Yagis. They're horizontal and vertically polarised. Now, if you remember, your TV antenna is either horizontal or vertical, one or the other. What happens with signals coming from space? They can rotate, and they can be horizontal or vertical. So they can switch between the polarisation of the antenna to get a better reception. There's a rotator there. That rotator just goes around azimuth and elevation. So the software, the computer software, will just track the satellite as it goes across the sky, or the space station in our case. And I mentioned, they do have video on board the space station, ham video. So some of the contacts, they actually do live stream the video from the ISS. You can see the astronaut with the microphone in his hand talking to students. And that's one of the ground stations. That is the Italian ground station with their video downlink setup. The satellite program that you'll see, this screen you'll see occasionally come up, is called G-Predict. Now there's not many computer programs that do track, the freeware ones that do track the ISS, but there's lots of apps for phones, either iOS or Android, that you can actually download one and track the space station, or you can track a satellite or something else that's floating around up there. But if you look closely at this one here, you'll notice that this little section up here, that's actually the downlink or the base station, which we're going to go through tonight. And this yellow circle with a little dot in the middle of it, that's the International Space Station. That yellow circle is the radio footprint. That's how far the signal can cover. So once that yellow ring crosses over that line there, we should hear signal. You'll see it happen when it gets closer. And acquisition of signal tonight, if I'm looking down here on my tracking, I think they've given me a different time. It's goodness me. Oh no, that's not the right one. AOS. No, I won't guess it. I'll tell you in a minute when I bring it back up again. But yeah, so once that circle crosses over that point, we'll get signal, and then when it disappears off the other side, the space station's gone over the horizon and it's gone. That signal just drops straight out. You'll hear this little white noise, this sort of hash type noise as it disappears. When it's about to happen, we'll get a warning. 30 seconds to go, 15 seconds to go. And if one of the students has just asked a question and it's about to disappear, I'll then jump in and I'll get everyone to give a clap and a cheer before the astronaut goes over the horizon, and they can get a bit of appreciation. And maybe you might hear them come back and say thank you for that. And children, when you're coming up and asking your questions, we've got all the students lined up here. So I want you to come, the first two students, which is 1 and 2. You'll come up here and sit next to me when we're ready to go. And then I want you to nice and clearly ask your question. And when you've asked the question, or first of all say, hello, my name is, give your name, ask your question, and at the end of your question you must say the word over. You definitely must say the word over. What happens then, when you're asking the question, the transmitter's transmitting up to the space station, and the guys in Italy need a signal to switch it to receive. So when you say over, they flick the switch, and then you can hear the astronaut come back and answer your question. So you must remember to say over after your question. Then you can sit in the chair and wait and listen to the answer. And then when the astronaut's finished and he says over, then we go to the next question on the other side of me, and they can start asking it. When the next question is started, then you can get up, move out, then the next person move in. This speeds up the question. We get as many questions as possible we can get through in the night. It looks like we've got 16 questions here. Now, don't be disappointed if you don't get your second question in. Some of you have got, I think, have got 2 questions. Don't be disappointed. I think everyone will get their question in, at least one question anyway. So yeah, just don't forget to say over at the end of it. And I'll bring up this. I think that's all for that one. Oh no, actually, I've got a short video. Actually, I just this is a video that'll show you what actually happens on the space station. So I'll play that now, and it'll give you a bit of an idea about what they do in the space station for a school contact. All right, I hope Robert's ready for this.
NA1SS, this is N2SJ, over. NA2SJ from NA1SS for scheduled contact.
Hi everyone, I'm Tim Peake and welcome aboard the International Space Station, where we're orbiting Earth 16 times every day. One of the most rewarding activities that some astronauts undertake on orbit is to talk to schools using the space station's ham radio. Now these are events that are planned by ARISS, which is a worldwide group of amateur radio volunteers who are dedicated to introducing young people and students to science, technology, engineering and mathematics. Now this is the equipment here in the Columbus laboratory, which consists of a handheld radio, a headset, and we also have a ham video unit. Now as the International Space Station orbits above your location, a radio link is established between the ISS and your school. Now because we're travelling at nearly 18,000 miles per hour, which is an incredible 25 times the speed of sound, we usually get about 9 or 10 minutes of good radio contact before losing the signal. So about 5 minutes before the scheduled start time of the contact, I come into the Columbus laboratory and configure the radio so that I'm on the correct channel. And sometimes I'll set up the ham video too. Just before the predicted time, I'll begin to start calling the school using the standard amateur radio calling techniques. For example, if the call sign of your school was GB4 Fun, I would say Golf Bravo 4, Foxtrot Uniform November. This is Golf Bravo 1 Sierra Sierra, listening and standing by. Now at your school, the radio operator will be listening for my call, but may also transmit and try to call me as well. You'll probably have a much more powerful transmitter on the ground than we have up here on board, so I'm likely to hear you before you hear me. Then, once we can hear each other, then comes the best bit, which is actually talking to the students and answering the questions. Once I've answered all the questions, we use the remaining time to say goodbye to each other and end the connection. I'll then spend a few minutes configuring the radio back into a rebroadcast mode, and then I'll go back to my day job, which is of course doing science on board the International Space Station. ARISS is a brilliant opportunity for astronauts to talk to school pupils. It's really rewarding to hear how excited the students are when they're talking to somebody up here in space. And it's a true privilege to be able to inspire our next generation of scientists and engineers through amateur radio.
Okay, that gives you a little bit of an idea about what happens up there. And I think they've just changed a lot of the radios up there. But you might notice the handheld that he was touching looked like a pretty old looking, might be like a really old mobile phone type size. One of the reasons that they do have some of the older technology up there is that stuff that goes into space has to be vetted quite stringently, and yeah, the components in the radios get killed by the radiation quite easily, so they need to have reliable equipment, and some of the reliable equipment, just once it's reliable, they leave it there for a long time. That's why that handheld looked like an ancient, it's probably from the 1970s, I suppose, early 80s sort of vintage. Alright, now I've got up the tracking software. As we can see, the space station is about to go across North America at the moment. And looking here, the AOS here is 2013 and 21 seconds, but I think that's I think they were saying it's 2012, but it just depends. I've got the latest KEPs, which are the Keplerian elements, to track this, and then the loss of signal is at 2024, 824 and 2 seconds. So between 813, 21 and 824 and 2 seconds, that's when we've got our chance to get as many questions up to the space station as we can, guys. Yeah. Alright, I don't have much more to say, but at I think it's 6 minutes past 8, we'll be called by the controller, and they'll take control and they'll go through and talk a little bit about ARISS and what it does, and then we'll be asked to, or the principal at the school will be asked to talk about the school, and then from there on in we'll go back, and then the contacts will start. So once the principal's finished her talk, then I'll get the students to come up and start sitting on these seats, and we'll get ready to run through them. So yeah, really, I've well, we got another 16 minutes. We started a bit too early for this one, but yeah. Anyone got any questions about amateur radio that you've wondered, why are we here? What are you doing here? Doing something that's well, so it's not radio orientated what I'm doing here. Well, this is video stuff and audio. Yes, I've got a question over there. A couple of questions, yeah. I haven't caught up with that. Did the helicopter fly? It did. I didn't saw the footage of that. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I've been personally, I've been licensed for about 28 years, and I started quite late actually in ham radio, but as a kid growing up in the 1950s and 60s, I was right into crystal sets and shortwave radio back where everyone had nothing other than radio in those days. Some people had television that could afford it and that sort of thing back in those days. But yeah, so but my passion in radio really is amateur radio direction finding. Amateur radio direction finding, ARDF, is part of it's part of our hobby. It's developed probably out of World War II with a lot of the military running around looking for transmitting stations during the wars, World War II. It started off up in Northern Europe and in the eastern states where they would hide radio transmitters in the forest, and you go out and locate them as quickly as possible, and they ended up making it a competition. A bit like orienteering, they'll give you a map. The map's got no information on it where the radio is or anything like that, or even don't have names of roads or anything, just a topographical map. And you would listen for the radio signal. You'd go off in that direction, find that. Oh, I've lost my. Oh, here we go. We're back again. You go off and find that transmitter, then listen for the next one. Now these transmitters on an international event, there's 5 transmitters in the forest, and one transmitter comes on for 1 minute, then it's quiet for 4 minutes. So then the next transmitter comes on for 1 minute, then it's quiet for 4 minutes. So you've got 1 minute to get a bearing and mark it on the map if you roughly
Shane,
think where it is.
Are you online? Only for a test?
Yes, I am, Claudio.
Yeah,
you're okay?
Okay.
Just turn it down a bit. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no problem at all. We've got about 12 minutes before we start the formal proceedings. I'm just watching the school online at the moment.
Yeah. Don't watch too close, Shane. So the transmitters, there's 5 transmitters in the course, and then there's another 6th transmitter on a different frequency, and that's called the homing beacon. So once you've found all 5 or as many as you can, you've got to get back to the start. And the person that gets back the quickest with the most transmitters found is the winner of that event. Now, this is an international event. It's probably dominated worldwide by the old eastern states, the Czech Republic, Russia, Lithuania, maybe even in Germany. There's a few Asian countries that are really good. Korea's pretty good at it. In Australia, it's quite a young sport. We don't have many people doing it down here in Australia, but it's being an international sport. Though I've travelled to places like Korea, Kazakhstan, Mongolia, the USA and Japan and China to compete in these events, which has been really good. So I've represented Australia and myself and others. We go away and represent Australia. So that's my passion. I'm the Australian coordinator for this type of activity. And I love getting out into the bush and looking for transmitters. It's good fun. Any questions out there? You must have a question about ham radio. Yes? Oh, no. Actually, going back in the day you could, yes, but not now with digital. The digital ones, yeah, even mobile phones. Probably the first mobile phones that came out, the 007 numbers, they were the car phones. They were just like radio transmitters. You could hear those easy as anything. They'd broadcast. They go into a repeater up on Mount Daniel and they go all over Melbourne. Guys used to listen to those, and then they switched over to mobile phone network, and you could still hear those. But when they switched cells, you couldn't hear them anymore. But now it's all digital. You don't hear any of that unless you've got really expensive equipment. No, we don't listen to that sort of stuff. Some things like if you've got a broadband receiver, you can go to like a rock concert or something where they're using radios, and you can listen to everyone talking. You know Yeah. Okay. You can listen to that sort of stuff and hear what the security is saying and that sort of thing. But no, we don't monitor any of that sort of traffic anymore. Any other questions? Okay, I've only been involved in one that was a proper setup, and it's really difficult. It is really hard. The antenna will probably be a 6-element Yagi, which is probably about the size of your television antenna, the big element one, but twice as long. Not that big, it's not like monstrous, but the problem is getting it and tracking it with software and getting it working exactly right. They had so many issues with some of the stations that were doing it over the time that they've decided to do this sort of thing. So they have known stations around the world that have got great stations, really rock solid stations, and they get pretty much 100% all the time. So having a live contact and having it's really difficult. You really need like a club to set it up. They do a few of them up in Queensland. They do have live ones, and in New South Wales, I think some of the clubs up there are getting involved in it. But yeah, we did one in Melbourne many years ago, and oh boy, it was tough. It was well, not so much tough. It was just like, is it going to work or not? At least we know this is working at the moment, so we know it's going to work. More questions? So we've got about 4 minutes to go, I think, till they start running the thing formally. No, children, you got any questions? No? You understand that big yellow circle is the footprint of the radio. That's how far the radio can transmit across the Earth. So at the moment it's going across North America, and it looks like it's just about covering all of North America at the moment. So if you're in North America, if they were talking on the space station, you could hear them on the ground. And no, they don't. Actually, they don't pick the microphone up very often. Occasionally you might be lucky, and when Andy Thomas was up in the Mir station, I think he might have been a bit homesick, and every night over Melbourne he used to, and South Australia, had a friend in South Australia he used to talk to, but as his friend in South Australia would be disappearing, to come over Melbourne and he could have a chat to him if he's still in the radio room with the hand mic. And then you do get the odd one. There was one that was up there, and all he went up there, it was one of those tourists, the space station tourists that pay like $25 million to go up there. I can't remember his name. Richard Garriott. And okay, and Richard was on as much as he could be. That's all he was there for. He was a tourist, and he had a ham radio license, and the guys loved it. He was just up there. He had what's called a dog pile. You put out a call because you're in such a good location. You put out what's called a CQ call, and all you hear is just noise coming back because there's like 50 people all calling you at once, and you've got to try and pull the signal out of it. But to actually get an astronaut to talk to, it's very, very rare. They do have a repeater, a radio repeater. If you know what a repeater is, it's a radio retransmitter, which is on a hilltop usually somewhere. You talk into it, and it retransmits your signal over a wider area. They have a repeater on the space station, so you can talk into the repeater on the space station, and your signal will go out. That whole footprint will cover that much area when you're talking on the repeater. So I might talk on the repeater from. I live in Vermont, and I'll be talking to guys in Perth or even up in Brisbane, that sort of thing. That sort of coverage you get, which is a lot of fun. But it's only for about 10 minutes as the station goes over. It's not like a permanent link. All right, I might start winding up some of these volumes because they're about to call us. What is the time? It's 8:01. Yeah, still another few minutes to go. By the way, that clock over there, it's not a clock with big numbers. It's
looking a little bit overcast in your location there, Claudio.
It's actually a GPS lock clock. It's got a GPS in it, so it's picking up the time from the GPS signal. So that's very, very accurate, that clock over there.
Yes, no problem.
That's the sort of things that we do.
Just watching your
screen. That was designed. That clock was designed by a radio amateur. So nothing to do with really radio transmitting, but that's the sort of stuff that they're into. All right. Well, I'm going to go quiet for a few minutes, and I'll let you guys chat among yourselves. And when this all starts up, then we can you can probably hear it all going officially. ISS, yeah. All right, so I'm going to go quiet, and then we'll let proceedings happen. 4 more minutes. Feel free to talk among yourselves. There won't be.
So Claudio, when you do your live link ups, you're required to wear the masks. Is that correct?
Oh, okay. I don't know if
Yes, we have the mask. Yes, we are
very
showing
good.
the nation.
Okay, we've got about 4 minutes until we start the official proceedings, and about 4 minutes' time I'll ask Delana, our conference operator, to start the recording, and then we'll get the formal part of the evening underway, just prior to contacting the International Space Station.
One thing I might mention is that if you miss something tonight, that this whole night is being live streamed at the moment on YouTube, so the YouTube video will stay there. You've probably seen the link. I'm sure the school would have posted the link out to you. But by tomorrow, if someone asks you what you did last night and said, "Oh, we went along and went to the kids," I spoke to a space astronaut on the space station. No, you didn't. Well, have a look at this, and it'll be there so you can show it. Bit of show and tell, and also hopefully we'll get some good video footage, and we can put a DVD together for the children. It'll be available in about 4 weeks or so. Yeah, that's just something that we like to do. Give them a memory when they get a bit older, and they can look back at when they spoke to an astronaut. It's pretty rare, actually. The space station, I think it's got funding till about the late 20s. So after that, who knows what's going to happen? There may not be one anymore. I think the Chinese are building one at the moment, and yeah, there's a few things like that sort of happening, and don't know where SpaceX is going to end up, but we'll see what happens with that. All right, we'll go quiet again and just wait for this whole thing to start.
Claudio at IK1SLD, your team's in position and ready?
We are in position already.
Okay, no problem. I'll just check in with the school and we'll start the official proceeding shortly. Jack at the school, you're all okay and you're in position and ready?
Yeah, roger there, Shane. We're all ready to go.
Okay, thanks, Jack. Bob, you're all set up and ready to go?
Yeah, mate, all set.
No problem.
I might get the principal to come over and sit down. I'll leave that there. Save making a noise. There's no switch on this mic. It's live all the time. So when it's your turn to talk, you just pick the mic up and talk. It's just live all the time. I'll call you in.
Okay, Delana, our conference operator, could you please start the recording when you're available? Thank you.
Actually, maybe this
Yes, of course. One moment here.
When you talk, push the button and hold it in and talk on it. Over. Just say over at the end. Yeah.
Welcome and thank you for standing by. At this time, all participants are in listen-only mode. Today's conference call is being recorded. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. I would now like to turn the call over to Shane. You may begin.
Yeah, thanks, Delana. Hello everyone, this is Shane Lind, BK4KHZ, your ARISS moderator for today. Through the help of amateur radio volunteers and the crew on the ISS, we soon hope to establish radio contact with the International Space Station as it flies more than 400 kilometres above the Earth over Casale, Monferrato in Italy. This is all accomplished through ARISS, which is amateur radio on the International Space Station. The ISS is currently approaching Europe, travelling along at around 27,500 kilometres an hour. The contact for today will be performed using the ARISS Telebridge network, which is a worldwide network of amateur radio ground stations that enable students to contact the ISS. ARISS is an international consortium of volunteers that assist to develop and operate the amateur radio equipment on board the International Space Station. Those agencies that currently support ARISS are the American Radio Relay League, the worldwide AMSAT, Amateur Radio Satellite Corporations, the Canadian Space Agency, the European Space Agency, the Japanese Space Agency, Roscosmos, the Russian Space Agency, and of course, NASA. The amateur radio ground station that will establish radio contact with the ISS today is ARISS Ground Station IK1 SLD, located in Casale, Monferrato in Italy, and operated by Claudio Ariotti and his team. Thanks for helping us out today there, Claudio. This contact will also be rebroadcast worldwide through the amateur radio Echolink IRLP systems by Bob Pittman, VK4DA, and thanks for helping us, Bob. We have around 5 minutes until contact time, and our link up today will be with the students from St Margaret's School in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Now let's check in with the school, and we've asked teacher Annette Rome, who's the school principal, to please tell us about the school and the students that are taking part today. Over to you, Annette.
Thank you very much. It is my great pleasure to be here tonight, and I'd like to start by acknowledging that we are meeting on Wurundjeri land and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. In fact, I'm going to start with a special message from the Narangita of the Wurundjeri, or King of the Wurundjeri, Murrindindi, who I spoke to within the hour, who wishes to pass on his best wishes not only to the young people here, but to the people in Italy, and should the occasion arise, to the astronauts up in space. So from one of the oldest societies on the planet to some of the most contemporary technology. Our school is in the southeast part of Melbourne. It is an International Baccalaureate PYP school, and it has a passion for science. About 70% of our girls and our boys go on and undertake careers in the STEM field. Tonight has been about 3 years in the making, and I notice that we are all exercising some of those things that good scientists do, in that we wait, we listen, and when the time arrives, we will be a part of what is to happen. It is an analogue line that we are speaking on rather than digital, and I would like to say that it is something that, as a female scientist myself, and I know the budding scientists around us and those in the audience as well, we are very excited to be part of this, and I'd like to thank the HAMS group and all the others who are part of this, and the teacher, Mr. Z, and others, Head of Science, who's here as well. I'd like to also particularly welcome the students from Beacon Hills and from Brentwood Primary School who are joining St Margaret's Berwick Grammar on this exciting evening. So without further ado, I wish everybody good luck, have an interesting time, and I think it is my time to say over and out. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Annette. That was very well done and very well timed. I just want to make one point to Delana, our operator. Delana, can you make sure that Claudio's line is not a listen-only line, that he can transmit, because he's the main ground station?
Thank you, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Claudio, before the contact begins, can you please tell us about your ARISS ground station, where you are, and how you'll handle the conversation? Back to you, Claudio.
Okay, thank you, Shane, for your presentation. Briefly, our Telebridge station is located in Casale Monferrato, Italy, airport, northwest of Italy. when T-minus 30 seconds, I go to call Shannon Walker aboard ISS operating today with call sign Oscar Romeo 4 India Sierra Sierra. This is, please, for the student, don't forget to say over, because this is a very important thing to coordinate the conversation between us and the astronaut. So I see the ISS approaching Italy, so we have 10 seconds to the contact. Microphone back to you, Shane.
Okay, Claudio, we have less than 10 seconds, so it's over to you. Good luck.
Okay, Shane. We are calling now. Oscar Romeo 4, India Sierra Sierra. This is India Kilo 1, Sierra Lima Delta, calling for a scheduled ARISS contact. Do you copy, Shannon? Over. Oscar Romeo 4, India Sierra Sierra. This is India Kilo 1, Sierra Lima Delta, Telebridge Station, calling for a scheduled ARISS contact. Do you copy, Shannon? Over. Oscar Romeo 4, India Sierra Sierra. This is India Kilo 1, Sierra Lima Delta, Telebridge Station, calling for a scheduled ARISS contact. Do you copy, Shannon? Over.
India Kilo 1, Sierra Lima Delta. This is Oscar Romeo 4, India Sierra Sierra. Backup frequency. Do you read me? Over.
Okay, backup frequency. Okay. Okay, Oscar Romeo 4, India Sierra Sierra, India Kilo 1, Sierra Lima Delta.
We have you loud and clear. This is Oscar Romeo 4, ISS.
Okay, Oscar Romeo 4, ISS, IK1, SLD. Good afternoon, Shannon. Your signal is loud and clear today. We introduce Sam School in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Are you ready for first question? Shannon, over.
I am ready for the first questions. Over.
Okay, go ahead, Australia.
Hello, my name is Arnev. Is the atmosphere in space hot or cold? Over.
Yeah, that is an excellent question. It depends if you're inside or outside. If you're inside the space station, it's just like being inside an office building. It's whatever temperature you want it to be. Outside, it can be either very hot or very cold if you're in the sunshine or if you're in the shade. So the answer is it really depends. Over.
Hello, my name is Rosie, and my question is the atmosphere in... I wonder what space food tastes like.
Over.
Over.
Rosie, you know what? Being the International Space Station, we've got a lot of really good food up here. We've got a lot of international food, Russian food, food from Japan. We've got all kinds of food from Europe, which is really yummy, and of course American food. But we don't have as any Australian food, so I'm wondering if you guys can figure out how to send us up some custard tarts or some lamingtons. Over.
My name is Zachariah, and what minerals and gases do you study in space? Over.
Zachariah, good question. We study so many things, I don't even think I could name them all. But we definitely do studies of the Earth, and so we're looking at the atmosphere and we're looking at things on the ground. So if you can think of an atmosphere or gas, we're probably studying it. Over.
Hello there. My name is Akash, and I would like to know how is water recycled on board the ISS? Over.
Akash, we actually do a lot of good recycling of our water up here. It's done in the basic way. We collect it all, we filter it, we put iodine in it to make it potable for us to drink, and then we drink it, and the process starts all over. We're able to reclaim about 75% of our water. Over.
Hi, my name is Manuth, and my question is, are there any unexpected laws of physics that do or don't remain the same in space? Over.
Manuth, I wish that were the case, but this is physics. It's even physics the same as you know up here. Over.
Hi, my name is Natasha. How many countries are involved in the ISS?
Over.
Over.
Natasha, we have got about 15 countries involved in the ISS. Of course, United States of America, we've got Japan, we've got Canada, Russia, and then there's a collection of countries that make up the European Space Agency. Over.
Hello, my name is Jackson, and my question is, when you come back to space, do you still feel like you're floating? Over.
Jackson, I really wish we did. When we come back from the space station, we feel really heavy because we've been living without the effects of gravity for the most part up here. And so when gravity hits you, you feel heavy. Over.
Hi, my name is Anushka. Do you think what you have learnt on space could help us with life on Earth? Over.
Anushka, I do think we do a lot of great science up here that's really helping new discoveries of things that we need on Earth. But I also think important things that we have up here is our working together internationally. Maybe all our countries aren't getting along all the time on the ground, but together up here we work very well together, and I think it's a good model of how Earth ought to be. Over.
Hi, my name is Ella. And my question is, what thing in space stunned you the most? Over.
There's so many interesting things up here, but I think what I found the most surprising was when I look out and how tiny our atmosphere is. It's just this little wispy layer that encircles the globe, and so it really gives us a sense of how much we need to protect our planet. Over.
Hello, my name is Adesh, and my question is, what is your spacesuit made up of, and what features does a spacesuit have in it? Over.
Adesh, so basically we've got the material that it's made of, many layers to be able to keep you warm enough when you're outside. The basic features is it's got life support. So it's a little spacecraft, and it's got oxygen for you to breathe, and it's got carbon dioxide scrubbers to take out the carbon dioxide so you can survive in your spacesuit, which is your spacecraft. Over.
Hello, my name is Balin, and my question is, how big of an issue is space junk for the International Space Station, and is there much junk around the station? And has the station ever been damaged by space junk? Over.
Space junk is becoming a bigger problem. We don't have to worry about it too much around the space station, but we do have people on the ground that track where space junk is, and if it gets too close to the station, we actually fire up the engines and move the space station out of the way. The station hasn't ever been damaged by space junk, but we have been damaged some. We can see holes in various things on the outside of the space station from micrometeorites. Over.
Hi, my name is Farhan, and my question is, do you hope to live on Mars one day? Over.
Fun. That is an interesting question. I think it would be very interesting to live on Mars. I wouldn't mind doing it, but I'm afraid by the time we get to Mars, I will already be a retired astronaut. Over.
Hi, my name is Rasandi. Do medical operations occur on the ISS? If so, how do astronauts prevent body fluids, such as blood, from being released due to low gravity? Over.
Sunday, we have not ever done any medical operations, and you're exactly right. Floating fluids would be a problem. Over.
Hi, my name is Natasha. Can you see weather?
For the second question lineup.
Can you see weather from space, such as rain or lightning from above the Earth? Over.
Natasha, in fact, we can see weather from space. Of course, hurricanes really stand out. Lightning, we can see it's really visible on the night side when it's dark outside. The lightning, we see it all across the globe. It's amazing. Over.
Hello, my name is Jackson, and my question is, how long does it take to orbit the Earth? Over.
Who's number 15?
Jackson, we go once around Earth every 90 minutes, so we're zipping along pretty fast. About 17,500 miles an hour, nearly 30,000 kilometers an hour. Over.
Okay there, Shannon. I think that's all the questions we've got. So I'd just like to ask the audience to put their hands together for the contact tonight. Thank you very much. Big round of applause. On behalf of the school, St Margaret's.
Today. Over and out.
Roger, thank you. This is St Margaret's out.
Thank you, Shannon, for the contact. Good return on Earth. Ciao, ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Bye. Over.
Excellent. Oh, that was a really good contact, and you got through all of your questions. Well done, St Margaret's. Ladies and gentlemen, we've just shared a wow moment of history. Amateur radio station IK1 SLD, located in Casale, Monferrato in Italy, and operated by Claudio Ariotti and his team, contacted astronaut Shannon Walker, KD5DXB, on board the International Space Station, and spoke with students at St Margaret's School in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia. Now, for the international volunteer team of ARISS, including the amateur radio satellite corporations throughout the world, the American Radio Relay League, the Canadian Space Agency, and the European Space Agency, the Japanese Space Agency, Roscosmos, and NASA, this is Shane Lind, your ARISS moderator, sending my greetings to you all in amateur radio terms, 7 threes, which means best wishes. Well done, students. You've done exceptionally well in getting through all your questions and really good signals from Claudio's ground station.
Thank you for that there, Shane. And on behalf of the school, I'd just like to thank the ARISS team for putting their time in to make this possible for everyone. Over.
No problem at all, Jack. Claudio, any final words from yourself?
Yes, thank you to all of you for the contact and on the school. In the station, we are in three operators today with Emiliano and Mikol and me. So our best greetings to all of you. Ciao, ciao from Italy.
Okay, no problem. Bob, any final comments from yourself?
No, all went well here. Very excellent audio from the school. There's no echo on that one, so that was great. Over to you, Shane.
Yeah, well done. Yes, congratulations, Jack and Robert and your team. You've done exceptionally well there with the audio side of it. It's a pleasure to work with you, and you've done really well. And the students should be very proud. They've done something that's quite exceptional and something that's very unique, and that will give them something to talk about at school tomorrow. All right, with that, if there are no further comments, we'll close off, and that will be it for us for this evening. Thanks very much, everyone. Oh, yeah, and Delana, you may now stop the recording. Thank you.
Today's conference call. Thank you, everyone, for your participation. You may disconnect.
Thanks, Delana. Thank you very much. Thanks, Claudio, and your team. We'll catch us all later.
Yeah, 7-3 from Melbourne, from St Margaret's, and thanks again.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. Thanks, Bob.